Thank you very much, and I'm so excited about this opportunity to be able to share with women out there, especially in 2023, where a lot of people do not know how to grow and expand their business. So we are going to look at a few things that is going to help us in order to be able to grow and then expand our business.
Sure.
So I think we can proceed from here, how women can grow their business in 2023. I'll just start with an introduction where we realize that the drive for gender equality and then women's empowerment has actually given rise to women inclusion in entrepreneurship, and has even given rise to women scaling up in their field of entrepreneurship. Sub-Saharan Africa in particular has the world's highest rate of women involved in entrepreneurial activity at 26%. And according to the MasterCard Index of Women Entrepreneurs 2021, Botswana, South Africa, and Ghana are actually among the countries with the highest percentage of women entrepreneurs globally. Now, we also realize that AFDB, that's the African Development Bank, has also asserted that female-led startups are actually the key drivers of economic development. And even in Africa and in Ghana, we realize that female entrepreneurs are actually driving the economy when it comes to their micro, small, and medium scale enterprises. And then African governments are actually doing their best to be able to boost economic growth and lift millions out of poverty by unleashing the potential of women entrepreneurs. And this tells us the value of women entrepreneurs in our continent and in our country. As stated by the World Bank, transforming the continent with the right policies and interventions to be able to create an enabling environment that can help women entrepreneurs to thrive. Now, we realize the emergence of COVID-19, and a lot of people saw that as a pandemic that was actually coming to shift the economy, that was coming to affect our businesses. Now, despite the challenges of COVID-19, there still remains several opportunities that I believe women entrepreneurs can actually identify. Now, we are looking at the AfCFTA, which is the African Continental Free Trade Area, which is the world's largest free trade area, with a potential to increase Africa's economic output by $29 trillion by 2050, and an estimated $4.2 trillion business to business. Now, I'd just like to dive a little bit into the African Free Trade Continental Agreement for us to be able to explore some opportunities. I think I'll come to that in the course of my presentation. Now, to proceed from here, we just want to, if we can move to the next slide. For those of us who are following from the slide, you realize that we are still talking around COVID-19 and the disruption that it has caused, but we realize that there are several opportunities that we can actually tap from the emergence of this pandemic. And this is where we women have to be very resilient and come up with some sustainable strategies to be able to still keep our businesses thriving. Now, promoting women's entrepreneurship is priority for all of us, and then African women entrepreneurs are fundamental key drivers of sustainable economic growth. I've already talked about all of this. I think we can proceed to the next one. But back to COVID-19, we realize that this is the time for us to really look at the opportunities that are coming out from the pandemic. I believe that whenever there are problems, that is where there are actually solutions. So if you are a woman entrepreneur, this is the time for you to look at what kind of problems have actually been caused by the emergence of COVID-19. Now, we all remember how a lot of people dived into the sales of nose masks and all of that during that period. And I can tell you, people actually made their first millions during that period. And this tells us that whenever there is a problem, we can actually look into it and create some innovative solutions to be able to solve it. Now, what are some of the market opportunities for women entrepreneurs? In 2023, we realize that Africa's current population, around 1.2 billion people, is actually projected to reach 1.7 billion by 2030. And this is why the SDG goals, every other person, every developmental person is working so hard towards 2030. and we have just a few more years to go. Now, more than 80% of Africa's population growth over the next decade will occur in cities, making it the fastest urbanizing region in the world. It means that if you are in business now, there is a lot of potential for you in the next few years to come. Therefore, you have a larger market to be able to tap into. And so we need to come up with some strategic models to be able to make out the best out of this opportunity. Now, I just want to touch on what we call the ANSWER model, which is actually a growth model or a strategy that will help us to be able to grow our businesses. Now, the ANSWER growth matrix is actually comprised of two axes. We can talk about product, and then we talk about the market. If you are into business, if you're a woman entrepreneur, these two areas are where we should actually look at. Number one, when we are looking at the products, the question is, which products do you currently offer, or what kind of services are you currently producing or serving people with, and then which new products or new services would you like to offer in the future? If you're not thinking about the future, then it means that we are going nowhere. Now, once you are looking at your product or your services, there is also a need to look at the market, because these products and services are actually serving a particular target market. Now, which markets are you currently serving, and which markets would you also like to serve in the future? These two are very critical for us to look at. Now, let's look at the 4 growth strategies under the ANSWER model. The first one, we can look at market penetration. Now, the aim of this strategy is to help us increase our sales of our existing products or services in existing markets, and this is to help us increase our market share. We looked at the total population and even the projected population when it comes to 2030, and I believe that if you are a woman entrepreneur, you should actually look at the kind of market or the size of market you can actually tap into, and in the future, how you can expand that particular market. We all want to have the greatest market share, and so there is a need for us to look at how we can penetrate into the market, and this is where you want to be able to increase your sales of the existing products or services, and even in this particular existing market. And so it means that you need to be able to come up with strategies to be able to beat the competition, because the market is already there. The people are already in the same market trying to have a greater share, and so there is a need for you to put some strategies together to be able to have a larger one. Now, the other part is market development, and here we are looking at increasing sales of existing products or services on previously unexplored market. Now, we talk about our target market. If you are into baby foods, is there an opportunity for you to also target a new kind of market? Now, we can talk about the Johnsons, where initially we used to have Johnson baby powder, but then we realized that mothers were also using the powder. So what did they do? To be able to tap into the unexplored market, that's when it comes to the mothers. Now, they said Johnson baby powder is now not just for the babies, but also for mothers too. So now they were able to change the brand and then have a new target market. So if you want to be able to develop your market, are there unexplored markets that you have not tapped into? Will your products be able to serve other segmented markets that you may need to explore? And I'm sure that would help us to be able to dive deeper into the particular part. The next aspect we are looking at is product development. And I believe that as we have started the year, there is a need for us to have a review of our products and services. I believe so much in product redesign. Mostly we spend a lot of money designing the product, but we do not review it. There's a need for us to ask ourselves, is this product still meeting the needs of my customers? Are these services still meeting the needs of my customers? What has changed in 2023? How can I launch new products, or how can I improve on my existing services and products to be able to meet the market in 2023? Then the last thing we'll talk about is diversification, which is very, very important. How can you diversify in terms of your products and then your services? So this means that you want to either launch new products or services on previously unexplored market. Now I want us to go into very practical steps and strategies that we can actually use to be able to grow our business in 2023. So we move on to some practical areas of growth in your business. Now the first one I want to talk about is that know and understand your customer. Knowing your customer is very important so that it can help you to build a very good customer relationship. We know that the customer is king. We know that the customer is key. We actually have our monies in their pockets. So if you have not gotten the time to understand the needs of these customers, what has changed about them? What are their buying patterns now? You need to be able to understand that to be able to serve them better. Now we want to also leverage technology. We are looking at digitization, and if we are looking into that, how can we digitalize our business operations in terms of our marketing, in terms of data storage, in terms of customer service? How do we build digital systems that can facilitate, the way we do our business? This is going to help us improve efficiency and then effectiveness. So I think the previous presentation, we talked about the essence or impact of social media when it comes to our business. And it's very important that we take advantage of the various digital tools to be able to improve efficiency in business. The next point is that we should embrace strategic networks and partnerships. If you do not understand anything, I think I want you to pick up this, that it's time for us to embrace strategic partnerships and networks. You cannot succeed in your business alone. There are other people who have value that can be added to your business. So if you are selling tomatoes, if you are into any kind of business, you may want to explore, how can I partner with relevant people in the entrepreneurial ecosystem who can add some sort of value to the business I'm doing? Can you explore some potential partnerships? I believe that this is going to help us scale our businesses. It's also very important for us to be able to cut down costs and make financial management a priority. We see a lot of people doing business and the system has always been hand to mouth. So we realized that during COVID-19, a lot of people went through economic crisis, especially women entrepreneurs. And that is why at that point in time, Women Saving Africa, in partnership with Plan International, was able to come up with a project that was to support about 50 women entrepreneurs be able to scale even in that period. And the research we did helped us to understand that most of the people who were actually affected were these women in the informal sector, because it's always been hand to mouth. And so it's very important for us to look at how we can sustain our business by having a financial management plan in 2023. We must also be very creative and come up with innovative solutions. You need to be able to engage a mentor, a coach who will actually help you to go through your business processes the right way. There's another key thing that I also like to talk about, which is also getting in touch with the innovation hubs. I think Presla talked about it. A lot of opportunities are out there, especially for women entrepreneurs in 2023. And all of these developmental organizations are working in partnership with hubs across Ghana. So if you are not affiliated with any hub, there's a need for you to get affiliated. And that is why I will introduce to you Women's Haven Africa, what is a female tech and innovation hub. We are in Asokwa, and then our main aim is that we are able to increase the participation and inclusion of women and girls in entrepreneurship, especially leadership and then technology. These are some of the programs that we are running at Women's Haven Africa, which I believe can help you. We have a startup bootcamp that is helping you from ideation for you to be able to launch up your business. If you're already into business, we have an incubator that would help you to go through your prototyping stage so you launch your business. We are doing a lot of digital skills training and then a lot of enterprise support programs, as well as vocational skills training that would help you either acquire a new vocation or be able to enhance your skill. And I believe that if you are able to build your capacity in 2023 in terms of business, then you would be able to scale even through to 2030.
And which, of course, is something that's not beyond you. The women in Ghana, they have a lot of potential, don't they?
A lot.
As to whether they are harnessing it well enough is another question. But what do you make of the environment for women? how conducive is it for women entrepreneurs?
Yes. So I think that, I mean, in my introductory part, I talked about the fact that there have been a lot of interventions and a lot of policies that have been put together to ensure that the right environment is created, I mean, from Africa at large. Even here in Ghana, we have seen the government of Ghana come up with a lot of initiatives. When you look at what GEA is doing, which is the Ghana Enterprise Agency is doing, coming up with a lot of funding opportunities and a lot of capacity building opportunities that is targeted at especially women, to be able to help them grow, build enough capacity to be able to scale. Even the developmental partners are now giving priority to women. So we see a lot of opportunities out there where we have even given about 60% opportunity for women to have access to the programs.
I pray that you have a question for, my very good friend here, Adwoa. And if you're a woman entrepreneur, you're a woman who's into business, you have some questions lingering on your mind, you want some clarity, why don't you call us now on 03220-83596, 03220-83597.